idea of being free, totally free. For a start, it's impossible. We're under the control of the material nature. And another thing is, our constitutional position is to be a servant of Krishna. But a servant in the sense not like someone who's a slave and whipped into submission, but very happily serving Krishna. In other words, a devotee doesn't aspire to be totally free. A devotee aspires to be bound up by love, as Krishna himself ties up his devotees with love. Pranaya rasanaya. In Bhagavatam, it's described how Krishna ties up his devotees with the rope of love. And he himself, although he's the most free because he's the most powerful, he likes to be loved by his devotees, which means he becomes obliged to them, which means he's not free. Yet, the idea of being free is connected with the idea of having the power to do what you want. Just like the Dalits in India may say, we don't have the power to do what we want. We're restricted by social restrictions. We don't have the power to come up and do as we like. But then everyone is restricted. Only Krishna can do what he wants to the fullest extent. He can become a fish if he wants. Here in this area, we're fish avatar area. Matsya avatar. He can become a fish. He can become a hog. He can become it's Matsya Kurma first. He can become a tortoise. He can become a hog. He can become a half man, half lion. He can become a dwarf. He can become a belligerent massacrer as Parashuram. He can become an ideal king. He can really be whatever he likes. So the whole idea of wanting to be fully free among humans, that's an impossible aspiration. We're limited in so many ways, and it's part of the diseased mentality of wanting to be God. It's not possible. We can never attain that situation, and therefore we're always frustrated as long as we're desiring to be totally free. Now, as I was saying, the whole spiritual endeavor in the Indic religions, as they're called, is to be free from Maya, free in a different way. But then Vaishnavas, our especially Gauriya Vaishnavas, followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we don't even aspire for that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I want to be free from the foolish desire to be very wealthy, to be very popular, to be very powerful, to be very attractive to women. All these foolish desires, I don't aspire to fulfill them, and I don't aspire even to be free from birth and death. I aspire to be your servant. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us how to pray. So seeing the dog reminds us of our position. We're looking at the dog, it's something like looking in a mirror. We've all been dogs. We've all been dogs and cats and chimpanzees and giraffes and coconut trees. How about that? If you get in the body of a tree, how much freedom do you have? Freedom is severely curtailed. You can hardly think at all. No freedom to move. Unless we understand that we are bound up in material life, going from body to body to body because of misuse of our freedom. It is important to have freedom. Why do we desire freedom? Because naturally we're not meant to be forced to go from body to body to body. So it is important to have freedom. We have an aspiration to have freedom, but not completely. We can't completely have freedom And if we do have complete freedom, then to do whatever we like, then where would be the love? How could we love others? Then there'd be no one on our level. Then we'd be God. It's not possible. And then even God himself, he has all freedom to do what he likes, but he chooses to be a cowherd boy and to act as an ordinary person. Because better than freedom is interaction with others, which means serving them, considering their needs as more important than our own. Living with others means we just can't act completely selfishly unless we're a child. And we're supposed to. A child only knows what I want. But the more developed a person is in consciousness, the less he thinks of what he wants, and he thinks of how I can serve others. I was just yesterday looking at the 1992 GBC resolutions, and it's interesting in this sense that I was reading about, well, Suhotra Swami this and Swarup Damodar Swami that, and at the time it seems to be such an important thing. And because it's in relation to Krishna, it is important, but they're both gone from our material vision. Suhotra Swami, Swarup Damodar Swami, whatever the issues may have seemed to be very important at the time, now they're gone. And whatever else we're doing, it may seem to be a very important thing. What I'm doing, what is the condition of my stomach, what is what are other people saying about me, this, that, but then we die. And then where do we go? That's the really important thing we should be focused on. We have the freedom in human life to consider philosophically, to try to understand why are we here. But if we misuse that freedom in petty things, then we just go back to the cycle of birth and death. Whatever we're doing, it may seem to be very important now. It's just like waves in the river. Big people of the world. Who are the big people in the world today? Donald Trump, Narendra Modi, Vladimir Putin. Who else? Theresa May, Angela Merkel. Their names are in the papers. After a few days it won't be. They'll die, they'll be forgotten. But our freedom should be used to understand who we are. This is the proper use of our freedom. If we don't know how to properly use our freedom, then we remain tied up. We can't see how we're tied up. We're tied up in this material world by the desire to enjoy it. Maitunya agara, that phrase is used. What is the binding force in material life? Is the sexual desire ties us up. All kinds of desires, but especially sexual desire, ties us in this material world. Freedom from that is real freedom. So we have the choice. We have this much choice, this much freedom. We can choose to be controlled by Krishna. We can surrender to Krishna and say to him, Sarvasya Toma, everything, Charane Shopya. I've offered everything I have, everything I consider mine to you. We can offer ourselves to Krishna, or we can maintain a false sense of freedom while being controlled by Maya. That's freedom that we have.